Hello beautiful people, I'm RaishPhoenix, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how my journey with self-love and self-care has been. If you haven't already, go ahead and click the subscribe button and click the bell so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. I kind of wanted to give you guys an update because I did do a mukbang a while back about my journey with self-love and self-care and kind of what I've been doing and the changes I've made. Fast forward now to like November. It's kind of interesting because when you make certain changes, you kind of don't realize at first like how much it's helped you until it's helping you. And I still wake up every morning and say something I'm grateful for before I even open my eyes, or like as soon as I recognize the fact that I'm awake, I say something I'm grateful for. And sometimes I find myself repeating like things that I've already said, like being grateful for the food I have in the house to get nutrients, being grateful for the bed I have to sleep on at night, the clothes I have to keep me warm, the house I have, the shelter I have to keep me safe and warm. And pretty much the point of that is kind of to backtrack to why I started doing that. So the reason why I started doing that is because your mornings are so crucial. Like your mornings set the tone for how the rest of your day is going to go. And if you want to have a good day, you have to set the intention and you really have to put that energy out. When I started doing that, also, like another thing is you have to be grateful for what the universe gives you in order for it to give you more. Like that's just the way it works. It's like if you're not grateful for what you already have, why would the universe give you more? Because you can't even appreciate what you have. So why would the universe give you more? So the reason why I started doing that is to set the intention to receive more from the universe and be grateful for what it's giving me. Like really take a second to really be present in this moment instead of waiting for something to happen to be happy. And it's interesting because the other day it didn't really hit me how much I've changed until I kind of started to have like a little bit of like a kind of like a fallback on the way I used to think in the morning. Because sometimes what happens, and this is something that happens to all of us, is like, let's say if you wake up on Wednesday morning and you have work in the morning, sometimes the first thought that comes to mind is the fact that Tuesday at work you had a bad day and now you're going to work again on Wednesday and you're already dreading it because you're already thinking about what happened on Tuesday. And the reason why you don't want to do that is because you're already putting out the intention to have a bad day. You're already putting out the intention that something bad's going to happen, and regardless if something bad happens or not, it's like you're not really putting yourself in a space where you can handle it or where you can be in a better space. So with the changes that I've made, I've realized how much I affect the energy I start my day with, and how much that has helped kind of lift a burden of what happened in the past, or lifting a burden of, it just keeps me grounded and present. It's definitely something that really allows me to focus on what I need to get done instead of focusing on what prevented me from getting it done, or focusing on something that didn't make me feel well. So that has helped me a lot with just the energy I experience in the course of a day. Another thing is like I'm definitely learning how to listen to myself and feel grounded in my decision making. It's one of those things where at the end of the day I'm still going to do what feels most natural to me, but I can definitely be easily swayed by the opinions of the people that I love and care about, because I trust them, and I trust them to have my best interest in mind, and they do have my best interest in mind. The problem is I can't live my life like that. Like I can't live my life constantly depending on other people to answer things where I should be learning how to trust and believe in myself, So I've been taking the time to really just listen to what comes natural to me. And also I've been taking the time to know when to take a break from working. I used to feel a lot of guilt for working on something and and not finishing it, but wanting to take a break. So let's say if I wake up today and I have already set the intention that I want to finish all of the line work on a drawing, and then I start working on the line work, but then something happens where emotionally I don't feel as connected to the piece and I feel tired, I feel bad if I stop working on that piece and I kind of force myself to work on it. Whereas, well, in the past, I used to force myself to keep working on it. Whereas now I kind of listen to that energy as like, I'm not feeling it today, and I'd rather work on this piece when I feel more connected to it so I can put in my best work as opposed to working on it just because I set the intention to work on it. And those are little things that have played a very big part in allowing me to, I just feel better, I definitely feel better within my mind and my body and my spirit. Physically, it's definitely helped me in so many ways that I can't really explain. It's just something that's felt. I don't know, it's interesting because how do I word this? I recently learned how to love myself. And when I say recently, I mean within like the past few years. Like I really learned what loving myself means. But it wasn't until recently, like within these past couple of weeks or months of practicing self-love and self-care, that I realized that I think what started to happen was that I loved other people more than I loved myself. And that's something very difficult to kind of realize and difficult to even think about, because the reason I realized that about myself because I realized how selfless I was towards the people that I loved and cared about. I was selfless towards them to the point that I was putting myself in situations that I didn't really want to be in, or putting myself in situations where I neglected to voice that I didn't want to be in because I loved and cared and respected them so much. And here's the thing, like when you have friends and family and loved ones, whoever they may be in your life, of course there's always that moment where you need a compromise with them to make things work. But the problem was that I was compromising to the extent that I wouldn't say anything at all. I was just loving and accepting of the way they were and the things that they did. And I kind of built a space in my life where I was willing to kind of put myself second because of the love I had for other people. And when I say this, I don't mean that those people were doing things specifically to harm me or doing things specifically to hurt me. Like these weren't malicious actions. Like these weren't things that was harmful in any way directed towards me, if that makes sense. It's just I didn't take the time to voice that I wasn't okay with things because I love them, and I'm at a point now where I love myself enough to separate myself from the situation. I love myself enough to voice, hey, I can't do this right now. I love myself enough to know that I deserve better. It's just one of those things that takes like a lot of self-reflection to really just notice what you're doing and how it's making things play out in your life. And with this, I'm definitely it's just a lot of self-reflection. It's a lot of realizing that I can't expect something different by doing the same thing. I can't expect my life to play out any differently if I keep putting myself in a situation and respecting the opinions and the actions of loved ones and not doing anything to kind of allow myself to prosper or allow myself to really grow, because I keep literally the best explanation I can think of is like, imagine that you're a plant, right? And you're a plant growing, and you have a few leaves and stems that are coming out in certain spots, but every time like a loved one or a family member starts growing in the path where your leaf would have went, you kind of say, oh, I don't want to get in your way because I love you, so, I'm going to grow over here. It's like when you do that in life for years in your life, you constantly put yourself in a situation where you're accommodating for others and you're not allowing yourself to grow. Like, literally, you are not allowing yourself to grow. And I want to grow. It's time for me to grow. It's time for me to stop allowing the love I have for others to affect the love I have for myself. And with that, I just know that it's time for me to put myself first. It's time for me to think about, well, what do I want to do? Give myself time to figure out what I want to do. Spend enough time with myself to really figure these things out, And it's tough. It's definitely not easy because I kind of feel guilty. I feel guilty in the sense that I feel like I'm pushing people away. And I feel like I'm neglecting people. Like, I feel like I'm doing something bad. But I recognize that there's something wrong with that thought process, because how can learning how to love myself be something bad? It's like literally it's little moments like that where I have to check myself and I have to check my thought process, because it's like, I need to do this. I need to be grounded. I need to take the time to learn how to love myself. I need to take the time to step back from everyone and everything and just grow, So that's pretty much what I've been doing in terms of like my self-love, self-care journey, and it's making me realize a lot of things about the way I've been thinking, and kind of what I've been doing in terms of how much initiative I've been taking to build my brand, how much I'm producing. I think a lot. And I always have ideas on how to visually execute things. I always have ideas on how I want to build something, and I'll start building the foundation for it, or I'll start sketching it, but there's not a lot of finished product. And that kind of just comes from having so many ideas. Like, even as an artist, like, I have so many unfinished drawings, and that's something that a lot of artists do. But I think the problem with my work habit, or with my my process, has been that I'm drawing so many different things, but I'm not finishing enough. And I really need to work on that. I really need to finish things, because I don't know, it's like I have so much in my head. I have so many ideas that I want to just manifest and bring to life and show people and share with the world, but I just have to start cracking down on finishing things. And that's definitely something I'm noticing as an artist that I need to work on and change. And also just taking the time to look at my work and look at what I want to change in terms of what I see is an opportunity for me to grow, because I feel like anatomy has always been something that's a bit tricky for me, but I know that I have a habit of kind of drawing things and it looks like a backdrop. Like, for example, this painting back here. So when I did that painting, and maybe like this drawing is better. So I did this painting when I was in college, and then for this drawing I can't remember, like, I think I did it kind of when I was like in the transition of college. But it's like, if you look at this one, it doesn't really look like she's in the forest. It kind of looks like a backdrop. Whereas for this one, it looks like she's walking through the forest area. So it's like, there are little things where I have to get better. I want to get better at creating environments and become a better illustrator. And it's like I'm taking a lot of the time to just reflect and recognize the things that I'm doing and the reality I've been giving myself and the restrictions that I've been giving myself, and really learning how to not be so restricted. I had to take the time to look back at my art and really look at how far I've come as an artist. I've definitely improved a lot. I can recognize how much I've improved since I graduated from college, but there are just certain things with my artistic ability that I know I can improve on, and I want to actively take the time to invest in that. And with my journey with self-love and self-care, it's like I'm looking at, and even today, random digress, but still related. Today I went outside and I created like a 2019 goals, and I wrote down artists, spiritually, mentally, physically. And I wrote down the goals I have as an artist, goals that I want to improve on physically, like eating healthier, eating more organic foods, really feeding myself like good nutrients and making sure that I'm eating from my major food groups, making sure I'm working out regularly and exercising. Spiritually, I want to make sure I'm meditating more, and just recognizing unhealthy thought processes that aren't serving me and taking the time to unlearn that. What else was it? Mentally, I know that pretty much what I was saying before, I struggle with grounding myself in my opinion instead of asking for a loved one's opinion or a friend or a family member. I definitely want to become more grounded in my own decision making and just listening within, and it's like, it felt good to write all those things down. I think, like, it feels so good to know what you need to work on, because I'm always working on becoming a better version of myself. I'm always working on doing the best that I can to do what I can, and that will help me with communicating to others, to be able to communicate to others how I'm feeling. And I just want to be better, So that's how my journey with self-love and self-care has been. I've definitely changed a lot within these last couple of months, just making the changes that I have, and I'm glad and grateful for that, because now I'm making room and space for things in my life that I really want there, in terms of my work ethic and my brand and so many things, so many healthier habits. I'm definitely manifesting it and creating the room and space for those things. But I hope that sharing these things helps you guys in some way. I hope that it helps give you ideas for self-love and self-care, and learning how to listen to yourself, learning how to ground yourself in just being you and becoming the best version of yourself. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Bless up, and until next time, sending out much peace, love, and enlightenment. Bye, guys.